Hey everybody, it's Shadowstar and Crystal here for another review of The Flash. This time it's the trial of The Flash.
So, we have the trial and it sucks.
Why?
Because yeah.
Why?
'Cause it sucks.
Answer the damn question. Why? Why does it suck?
Because they sent him to prison.
That doesn't make the trial suck. Just means they had no good way of getting out of it. What was he supposed to do? I really enjoyed this episode.
Yeah.
This was a really good episode. You know me, I love a good courtroom-based episode.
Yeah. Then go back to watching Medium.
That wasn't a courtroom-based show. And it was boring.
Okay.
It's just repetitive. You can't, no, that's the thing. You don't watch a show for the courtrooms. You want courtrooms in your normal show. If you have a whole show devoted to courtrooms, then it's not fun anymore.
Okay.
Because there's nothing to attach to it. The reason this is fun is because you know everyone. In Medium or Law and Order or whatever other show there is, you're not constantly seeing characters you're familiar with go to the stands.
True.
But anyway, I really love this episode.
Yeah,
From everything to the arrest, to the courtroom, to the prison scene, I love it all. It's all my favourite elements. I love courtroom scenes.
Yeah, it was still pretty good.
I love a good prison arc, as we're going to get with Barry. There's so much good in this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so good, so good. You just got to appreciate. You got to appreciate how not just how good. See, here's the thing. The previous episodes have been about showing how smart DeVoe is. This episode is more how good Marlise is. I mean, DeVoe was in it, but was barely in the episode. It was more about Marlise, and there were plenty of good moments for her.
Yeah. She's a good liar, I'll give her that.
She was really good on the spot.
Yeah, even when they got the photos, she... Although, if someone were to actually look at records for, like, ALS support group or whatever it was...
She's a witness. She doesn't have to provide perfect story for her alibi, just enough story that the jury would find it.
Yeah,
That's the thing. She's not making a complete claim. It's not like she's making an alibi. She's just explaining who the guy is. That wouldn't require a full investigation.
True.
So, very well done. You gotta love it.
I'm betting her story that she thought of was partly inspired by Stephen Hawking, because he and his wife, she liked another guy, and he was fine with it that she, had the other guy take care of her in ways he couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess so. But yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed this episode. There are a lot of good points about it. And then, of course, we have I wouldn't call it a villain of this episode because...
More of a victim. He didn't mean to hurt anyone.
I like the fact that he doesn't actually realize the harm he's causing till late into the episode. I like that. It was a small aside thing to keep Barry distracted. But I like, it was a fun scene, and, the scene of them stopping him was a fun scene. And I like the fact that they kind of do the parallel of when the judge is reading out the sentence at the same time of Captain Singh reading out some award for the Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just shows that if the world knew that this was the same person, they would see him in a whole different way. But unfortunately, he would not want to tell anyone.
His logic is that if anyone knew his identity, everyone he knows and loves in Team Flash would be in danger. But what about the people who know Vibe's identity? Because honestly, Cisco, all he wears is glasses, and half the time he takes them off.
Yeah, he took them off in this, and it's just like, alright, do you want someone to see your face and figure it out?
Exactly, then they can just connect him to all the people
and
he knows.
Killer Frost basically has Caitlin's face. I mean, facial recognition would kind of identify her.
This is an interesting point, but speaking of Killer Frost, that's an odd point. Okay, clearly they do recognize her because she's got a drink named after her, and they're obviously now the people accept her because she helped fight in the crossover and all that, right?
Yeah.
But in season 3, it was a plot point that we can't blame Caitlin for what Killer Frost does, and so on, implying that people are going to use facial recognition on Killer Frost and see it as Caitlin. Like when Killer Frost tried to attack what's her face? Tracy.
Or when she kidnapped.
Well, no, because in that earlier episode she hadn't gone full Killer Frost. But when she attacked Tracy, Cisco did a thing where he said, "Oh, I had to wipe the footage of the thing so they didn't find out it's Caitlin."
Yeah.
But then by that logic, why is nobody making the connection now?
Yeah, Killer Frost should really wear a mask.
And if it is, or maybe Caitlin's happy with the fact that it... I mean, to be fair, at least now the public seems to be on good terms with Killer Frost.
Yeah, true. She's a hero and all.
But their also logic is that people would go after the heroes, so no one's going after Killer Frost or Vibe, and their identities are known.
Well, Amunet goes after Killer Frost.
True, but she already had a connection to Caitlin. That's
the thing. Random people in the public are not just going to go after heroes looking for them.
He meets villains.
Yeah, villains are going to be able to find out the heroes' identities.
Anyway, and then, oh man, speaking of good moments...
But the thing is, DeVoe said, oh, no matter what you did, you still would have failed. And it's like, but... You're saying that even if he did reveal he's the Flash, he would have still gone to prison?
Okay, one, we don't know how good of a lie Marlies would have had in that example. And two, you can't take DeVoe as the holy word. But, I mean, like I said, this episode had so many good scenes, and a really underrated scene is Ralph and Joe.
Oh, yeah.
That scene when he's going to go plant evidence and Ralph gives this brilliant speech.
I know, he got to me too, because at first I was with Joe thinking, yeah, go ahead, she framed him first, just pin it on her.
I love that moment where he gives a speech about what would happen if he got caught and how it would ruin his life. And
because one day, if the world did find out that Joe planted evidence, then it would just be thrown away and it wouldn't work.
It's more to this point of how much just... committing...
He'd lose his job in law enforcement and all that.
How much getting arrested ruins your life. That's like, man, Ralph gave...
Especially if you want a job in things like law enforcement, you get arrested, you're screwed.
Especially when you think about that's exactly what happened to Ralph, remember?
Oh yeah, and I was going to say that's sort of similar to Detective Lance.
Oh, you're right.
He was working with the vigilantes and then his job got messed up.
That's true. But still, man, that speech really... I remember that speech the first time I watched it.
You know what we didn't get?
And it really got to me.
We never did get any more interaction between Joe and Lance except for that one time.
I know. There's lots of good interactions that should have happened.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's still time.
Sure.
But seriously, that's Ralph's speech. I remember the first time I watched it, it really hit me hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that speech was great. And like I said, love this episode. It's a Courtroom episode. And I love the not villain we had as well. So, and I love Marlies. And as much as we crap on her, I actually like the confrontation between Iris and Marlies because they kind of have a thing going back and forth throughout the rest of this season. Kind of a side rivalry along with Barry and DeVoe.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I suppose I'll just go 7.5.
I was going to give it a 9.
Okay.
You really didn't like this episode, huh?
I did. That's why I gave it 7.5.
Hey, it could be worse. Have you seen how average our review ratings used to be back in the day for like early Arrow? Even when you could tell we were enjoying it, we would give such lower ratings. I'd be like, oh, we really, really enjoyed it. 6. Now
I think we were trying to save higher numbers for better stuff.
But now, even when we get an Arrow episode that we're like, yeah, it's pretty good, but it had some weak points, we're like 7.5. Back in the day, 7.5 was considered great. Now it's like, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
Now it's like, you got to get to 9 before it's really good. Anyway, enough about that. What is the next episode called?
The Elongated Night Rises.
Well, we will worry about that next time. Anyway, we will see you next time for more Flash and other things as well.
See you next time, guys.